Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, so today we are diving into a seriously gripping story of survival, incredible foresight, and absolute, unapologetic over-preparation. Imagine you're in a cinematic thriller, right? And the protagonist literally has the ultimate cheat code, future knowledge of the apocalypse. We're going to unpack the fascinating journey of a man who uses his memories of a doomed timeline to build an overpowered, totally impenetrable fortress. Let's get right into it.
I mean, seriously, ask yourself, what would you do if you woke up today with exactly 7 days to prepare for the end of the world? Put yourself in the shoes of our protagonist, Yang Wang. He's just an ordinary guy with an accounting diploma running a small construction renovation business. But then, one afternoon, he suddenly wakes up strapped in his car, completely gasping for air.
He's got one ticking clock, and that is 7 days. On June 20th, Yang Wang wakes up sweating with these visceral, incredibly painful memories of his own gruesome death by a zombie bite. He quickly realizes this wasn't just some bad nightmare, it was a literal vision of exactly 3 months into the future. He has exactly 7 days before the outbreak hits on June 28th. And you know what? He doesn't panic. Instead, he just gets right to work.
Now, if you read typical online survival forums, a lot of people think hiding out in a high-rise apartment is the way to go. But Yang Wang knows from his past life that those places are absolute death traps. They've got limited space, they rely completely on the city's failing power and water grids, and their doors are so easily broken. His master plan? Total self-sufficiency in a massive 830 square meter commercial facility.
He basically decides to build the ultimate fortress. Leveraging his construction expertise and a whopping $3.8 million in project funds, he targets a 5-story cold storage building he was actually already hired to renovate. Because it was designed as a cold storage facility following a major earthquake, its reinforced concrete walls are 20% thicker than normal. It's truly earthquake-proof, shock-proof, and features incredibly thick, soundproof, and insulated walls. It is, quite literally, the absolute perfect shell.
This is where it gets really brilliant. Because he hacks existing tech to guarantee unlimited water and electricity while remaining completely hidden. He taps into the power-generating glass that's already installed on the building's exterior and routes all that power to heavy-duty BYD Blade batteries he acquires. For water, he secretly taps into a hidden underground well using a submersible pump. And the absolute genius part is that he builds a secret living base entirely on the 4th floor, using state-of-the-art soundproof prefab rooms.
But here's the thing. Having all those resources isn't enough if people know you're there. You have to be invisible. To deceive intruders, he leaves the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th floors looking exactly like an abandoned construction site, complete with exposed wires and rubble. He completely seals off unused pipe shafts with expanding sound-absorbing foam so absolutely no noise escapes. He bypasses the main elevator with a secret password system. He even sets up a discreet waste management system using RV mobile toilets with degradation liquid, so there's zero smell to attract unwanted attention.
Okay, let's talk about this massive stockpile, because this completely illustrates his OP, or overpowered mindset. This isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. He stockpiles 78 cubic meters of frozen meat and 110 cubic meters of dry rations. He builds a 150 square meter hydroponic garden and actually brings in live chickens for fresh eggs. For defenses, he gathers 220 homemade explosives. He even secures 2 fully armored escape vehicles. And showing he really prioritizes his family's long-term comfort, he hauls in a ridiculous 1,500 pounds of degradable cat litter for their cat boss. No way was the cat getting left behind.
But hey, a true tactical survivalist always has a way out if the fortress falls. So, Yang Wang prepares an armored escape route. He plans for a massive 3,000-kilometer escape range, perfectly orchestrating a getaway just in case their sanctuary is ever breached.
And he doesn't just buy some heavy-duty trucks. No, he builds literal zombie-crushing tanks. He wraps a BYD tank and a Denza D9 in custom-welded steel cages. He installs bulletproof off-road tires and super dark privacy film. Ingeniously, he stashes 120 liters of extra petrol that is directly accessible from inside the car via seamless pipes, so they literally never have to step outside to refuel. He hides these mechanical beasts on the ground floor behind a fake gypsum wall, which his family can reach instantly via a secret emergency slide pole. It is a real game changer.
So the timeline for all this is brutally fast. June 20th, he wakes up and immediately begins pulling $3.8 million in cash, buying supplies, and convincing his family this is real.
By June 27th, they execute the final move-in, welding steel frames, and totally sealing the cold storage fortress. And then, June 28th, 0 hour. Exactly as he remembered, the first zombie appears right outside in their industrial park. The creeping dread really sets in here. Yang Wang is just safely watching from his multi-screen control room as the outbreak completely takes over the world. The reality is incredibly grim. The entire city had turned into a living hell. There wasn't a single living person left on the streets. Zombies were everywhere. The world outside is burning and people are panicking. But inside, his family is completely locked down and practically invisible.
To guarantee absolute isolation, he executes his final defensive move. 220. That is the exact number of homemade ammonium nitrate explosives Yang Wang carefully planted on the very last set of stairs leading up to their floor. He hits a button and boom, he blows up the stairs, creating this impassable ramp of rubble. The fourth floor is now entirely cut off from the infected world below.
Which brings us to surviving the long siege. On day 10, exactly as Yang Wang predicted, the city's water and power grids finally die. The rest of the city is plunging into total darkness and absolute thirst. But inside the OP fortress, the lights are shining, the air conditioning is blasting, and Yang Wang's family remains completely comfortable and totally off-grid.
Now, their new daily reality is, well, it's pretty bizarre and psychologically taxing. They spend their time watching the horrifying interactions between desperate survivors and zombies through their exterior cameras. Meanwhile, inside, they have to balance these terrifying threats outside with the most mundane tasks inside, like secretly compressing literal toxic human waste to avoid detection, all while enjoying fresh vegetables and eggs from their indoor farm.
In fact, to handle that solid waste without attracting zombies with the smell, they literally use an industrial compactor to crush their trash into scentless, solid bricks. As they are doing this intense, hazardous chore in full hazmat suits, Yang Wang injects a moment of dark humor, asking, if we write something on it, will people call it historical waste in hundreds of years? I mean, nothing says family bonding quite like crushing toxic waste into bricks while the world ends outside, right? It's these moments that keep them sane. As the days tick by, the siege milestones start stacking up. Day 10, the grids fail. By day 48, they hear the first safe zone radio broadcast, providing false hope to the masses. But Yang Wang knows way better than to leave his fortress. On day 55, they have this grand family feast to celebrate surviving their hardest milestone, which is the exact day Yang Wang lost his in-laws in his past life. By day 90, they hear reports that the zombie horde is stalling due to the summer heat. They manage to completely thrive while the military desperately struggles to contain the evolving threat.
But of course, the apocalypse evolves into something way, way worse. Just as they settle into a rhythm, the safety of the fortress is threatened by an unforeseen massive development. The temperature starts dropping as winter approaches, and with that bitter cold, the zombies' behavior changes drastically.
They tune into a survivor's radio broadcast and hear this absolutely chilling transmission. There are so many zombies. They're coming like a flood. A whole zombie horde is coming from the north. Let that sink in for a second. An unstoppable wave of literally millions of zombies moving south as the weather cools, systematically destroying military safe zones and crossing rivers just by climbing over one another.
Which leaves us with this final, thrilling question. As an unstoppable flood of undead marches south and temperatures plummet, how long can even the most overpowered fortress survive? Yang Wang has infinite food, impenetrable walls, and armored tanks, but against a sea of millions of evolving zombies, is it going to be enough? That is the ultimate cliffhanger, sparking our curiosity for what happens next in Yang Wang's epic journey. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and hey, maybe start checking out the soundproofing in your own house. Catch you next time.